It's a battle royale. I'm staying 10 steps ahead of you. Playing Apex Legends, you ain't know that I'm an Apex predator. Killing and sniping the competition. You are not anywhere near my level.
What's up, everybody? It's ItsSobeTv. Today's video is going to be on Dota's update, in which Juggernaut gets a little bit of a tweak and Doom is brought back, boys. And let me get right into that right here. Alright, guys, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. Go over the patch notes. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinion on everything. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll help you out as much as I can, or stop in the stream. I stream every day, 9 p.m. Eastern. So let's go ahead. This is for the patch on August 23rd. So if you're interested, here are the patch notes. They fixed some crashes. Great. I'm glad they fixed some more crashes. I didn't experience any of that stuff myself, so I'm glad they took care of that. Some audio is playing at a higher pitch. Some more FX optimization and improvement. One big thing I do want to point out, though, now it'll allow you to notice is the hero, the mana pool. If your mana pool gets full, it'll change colors. So you'll be able to distinguish if your Tidehunter is placed in the right spot, if your Tidehunter is getting enough mana to allow him to ulti. So it'll make it a little bit easier if you got to move or reposition your heroes. It's just a nice QOL update, and it'll allow you to see that type of stuff, you know. They made it the achievement tabs show a notification on your thing at the top in the middle, where before you'd have to go through and look at every single one, see if you had one to claim and not. It was a big pain, you know. This will just make it a much easier. All right. They made a little notification for finding a match, so I'm thinking now you can queue up and go through and look at other stuff, and you know, where before you'd have to sit there in one screen, you couldn't do anything else. So they have that. Level up button in shop is on hover. Preview XP increase from buying XP. The Lords of the White Spire, when starting a game, preview the MMR before the game. So you'll be able to hover over each place and see where you'd place. You know, if you got 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. Not 9th. What am I saying? Bleh. But you get the gist. You get to see what place you have to get to, you know, not lose MMR. Now, they had some MISC UI updates and stuff. I haven't noticed anything offhand that I want to point out. But there are some things I've been noticing as I played a little bit more today that I've noticed that they did. Haven't been able to play a whole ton today because the ranked matchmaking was messed up and they didn't fix it until like 2 hours ago. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll maybe make another video and maybe not. We'll see, you know. Next big thing I do want to point out, though, is they adjusted the hero tier distribution curves, okay, for T4 and T5. That's amazing. I'm so glad that they did that. That opens up the ability for so many different things, different options. It allows you maybe the possibility to get like a T4 as a T3, not probably a T5, because there's very limited amount of heroes in the pool for T5, so that's just not even logical. But it does leave open the possibility to get a T3, T4 now. You know, level 3, tier 4 hero, because there's 20 in the pool now. Huge. So let's go ahead and I'm going to browse down to the chart and take a look at it quick, and we'll come back to this here in a few seconds. Alright, guys, so I have the chart here right in front of you for the new tiers and everything. Shows you the odds, the old odds and everything right here in front of you. And some quick things I do want to point out right away that I noticed, and I've noticed when I played today earlier, because I did play a few games, is your T4 and your T4 odds. T4 and T5 odds. What am I saying? T4 and T5 odds. So, big thing. At level 5, you're still at 0%, but when you hit level 6, you're going to be at 10% now, which where before it was 7, and as you get up higher in levels, you'll be able to get a higher percentage. So now, what I'm saying is, where before there was so limited heroes in the pool for a T4, it was very unlikely you're going to ever get a 3-star T4. Now that there's, you know, so many there's 20, you have the potential to actually get it. And the percentage before was really low. Look, I mean, if you were level 8, you only had a 15%. Low heroes, if someone else has a couple of them, you're not going to roll, you know, get a 3-star, you know, not happening. If you're 9 and you want to get that T4 or something, you know, if you want to do a 9 build warrior and level up a 3-star, you know, warrior that's tier 4, you possibly could do it. it brings in some new builds and new ideas that you can possibly do, because it leaves the option to make a 3-star T4 if, you know, not a lot of people are building it. I like it. And they do, if you notice here, looks like there's a new item. A higher class of criminal. So that's for the 10 plus. I have the chart right here, guys. I'll leave this information right in the description below if you want to look at this a little farther. But that was the big change I noticed right there in the chart. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot more time on the chart, but one other thing I want to point out over here, if you look, is the lower tiers. It does decrease the percentages. You can see right here, it used to be 19, and it's 15% now, and 22 and 18. So it's going to be harder to complete your tier 1s the higher you are. The last thing I want to point out, it's going to be a little bit easier to get your T5s. So at 8, it's 5%, not 1%. 1% is a heck of a lot harder to get your, you know, troll into your role, or if you're looking for a Medusa or an Enigma or whoever you're looking for to finish off that build. It's a lot easier to do now. It's more viable to, you know, try to get a troll, where before it's 1%. It's very hard to get them on a 1% or a 3% to finish your build. Makes it a lot more logical, easier to have a troll in your build, because it's easier to get them in a roll. So if you're going to get a T1, if you're trying to finish a 3-star on a T1, make sure you do it earlier before you hit a higher level, because the percentages are a little bit lower than they were before. Now, some of the hero changes, they did do a few hero changes, and this is some of the last few things we're going to cover in this video. Doom is sort of like a counter now for, well, not sort of, he is a counter for Brawny. So if you got an opponent who has a Brawny, has tons and tons of health, Doom disables his Brawny buff, which is great, and he should. You know, in Dota 2, he disables passes, and, you know, can't use anything. That's how he is. He can't even use any items, nothing. So I'm glad that they made it like that. It'll make it more viable if you have an opponent who's building Brawny and has a freaking Beastmaster, has a ton of health, or an Axe, or Juggernaut, or whatever. It'll be a counter. You can use Doom in your build to counter that. Love it. They did upgrade Jugger to a T3, and they did fix him. They made him a lot better. He did get a little bit more tweaks, so I think he's finally going to be a lot more viable than before, where he was just total nonsense with his spins and everything. And they did do a little tweak on Shadow Shaman to make him a little bit more viable. I still don't know if he's going to be very, you know, I think he needs a little bit more tweak, maybe a little bit buff, and upgraded to a T2 maybe. You know, because there's only 4 trolls, so I think maybe have the one, because they have Bat as 1, and then they could have the other 2 as, you know, T2s, because they have Troll Warlord as a 5, or make Shadow Shaman a T3, and then have Witch Doctor as a T2. That'd be an option also, and make Shadow Shaman a T3, or make Witch a T3, whatever. But I think they need to make, you know, Shaman a little bit better, because he is, I think, really weak still a little bit. But other than that, guys, that is it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by the stream. I stream pretty much every day, 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. I'll leave all the information below. You can always leave a comment below, too. You know, you don't have to go to my Twitch. And as always, make sure you throw me a thumbs up. That helps so much, so much. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night, and be sure to stop in my stream. Later.